Right. So Facebook does say we are live. So I just want to say hi to everybody. This is Stephanie Nietzsche. Those of you that know me know that sometimes I come on my channel and I do interviews. We talk about books. I have authors as guests, and I haven't done that in a while. So last week, I was honored with the request from Vincent Lanci for a fifth, like a short spot to talk about my books. And while we were talking about my books, my Smoke Tree books, Vincent is also an author. And I had so many questions for him and his books because he has an amazing story. But the time was short and we couldn't go back and forth. So I said, Vincent, would you please, join me so everyone could learn about your books and your amazing story. So here I am today with author Vincent Lanci. Hi.
Hi, Stephanie. Good morning, and thank you so much for having me. I am very excited for our talk to continue.
I'm very excited too. I am very excited too. I know you have a lot to tell us. So we have a lot to fit into an hour. So basically, I just want to ask you this one question. Was it your plan in life to become an author?
No.
No. Okay. So now that leads me to the next question. How did that happen? I know you had a life-changing event at the age of 21. So before we get into that, what was a day in the life of Vincent Lanci before the event?
Before this was January 2013. I was set to graduate that spring, very excited. I was actually interviewing for a market analyst position out in California. My studies were finance. I interned, at Northwestern Mutual, Merrill Lynch, and it was just time to try marketing. I enjoyed the classes. And then what led me to the books is one of our first friends turned 21. We went out for some food and drinks, and I didn't want to get in the car with someone drinking. So I decided to walk home. But on that walk home, it almost turned into a death sentence because I was the victim of a hit and run accident on the strip of bars and restaurants. I had the bicycle lane crossing over to the sidewalk, and the next thing I know, I woke up out of a coma about a week later, recovered in Tampa General Hospital for almost a month. And throughout that process, there was a lot of reflecting on life by myself, and things really changed because of something I didn't do, because of someone I had never met. It was a long path forward. I had to relearn how to walk, talk, spell, go to the bathroom. The early prognosis was I may not make it through the first night. And then it was I may need 24/7 care for the rest of my life.
Wow.
And then now we're here.
Well, this is an incredible story. Let me just backtrack a little bit, because what you mentioned about not getting in the car with someone who was drinking and driving, that's what we are taught, and that's what we are told, and that is the sensible, common sense thing to do. If someone is drinking, now you're at risk. You're putting yourself at risk by getting in that car with them. So you chose not to get in that car and made a safety decision. And you walked and got hit by a car. I mean, that must have been, your family must have been devastated. So now, do you remember anything do you remember getting hit? Do you remember the moments or seconds that led up to that? And did that happen from the front, the back? Like, give us a little bit more detail on that.
From where I got hit on the road, I lived on a side street behind that main road, a few side streets. If I were, a football athlete, I could have definitely thrown a football to my front door from where I got hit. It was right there. I got hit on my right leg from behind, and I ended up going up in the air as high as a basketball hoop, the police officer said, and I landed on my face. My whole face was purple. I had a traumatic brain injury, which was even darker and tougher to recover than a broken tib fib in my leg. I have a metal rod in my leg for the rest of my life now because of my bone popped out, and they had to straighten it out with the rod. So these are just things that I've had to live with because of this accident.
Because of the accident.
Yeah.
And so close to home. So, you did everything that was right. You didn't get in the car. You were almost home. You almost made it there, safe without anything happening. And then who found you? How did you get found?
Coincidentally, where I got hit by the car on the right side of the road, on the left side of the road is a TD Bank, and it's a frequent police checkpoint for DUIs. So a police officer happened to see me right in front of me. It's a one-way street, and it was late at night. So if he wasn't there and one
Wow.
more car had hit me, I probably would not be here today.
Oh my gosh. That is an amazing story. And then what, so when you went, so you were conscious.
At the time, I don't remember. The way it described to me after I woke up was that part of your brain blocks negative memories. So I may never actually recover. It had nothing to do with having a drink with dinner. It had nothing to do with anything besides
Right.
how traumatic it was, and that my brain wants to block that out. I don't have too much info on the science part of it, but I'm thankful that I don't have too much recollection of the actual incident. I remember everything going up to it. And in the first book, which we will talk about, Left for Dead, I discuss the process of getting up to my front door. So we may touch on that a little later.
Ah, okay. I see. I see. So now you're in the hospital and obviously in a lot of pain,
Yes.
and your prognosis was not good. I mean, I know you have that book that really describes everything in detail, but this is just such an amazing story. And I mean, the strength and the mental strength needed. I mean, what were you thinking at the time when everybody was coming in the room and examining you and things just weren't looking good? Like, I know your books are about mental health. So what was your mental state at the time?
It's tough to answer because with the traumatic brain injury, with the bleeding and the amount of drugs I were on, the morphine, etc., you had a tough time separating dreams from reality. And a severe example of this was I was in the shower at one point. I had a leg cast on, a soft leg brace. Saw another man would shower. I go in a shower like a locker room style with, you sit down on a bench, very uncomfortable, and a man showers you because you can't move. And I saw red water, blood going down the drains. I thought I was in Silence of the Lambs. Must have been a commercial I saw or something on TV, and that triggered that. So my mind wasn't really in the right spot a lot of times, and it
Oh,
wasn't for
right.
many years really. Just having to work with the new brain, denial was a big part, but the turning point was when I accepted that this is a situation. It happened, even though because of the brain injury, I had a tough time connecting somebody else hitting me with a car because I was walking home. It was just tough to comprehend. But from that point on, it was I either sit and sulk, cry, why me, or I turn something negative into something better. And that's what led the mental health journey, because the TBI was my why into giving a care about mental health. I was not really on the track. Not that I wouldn't have considered purpose-driven work, but I was a finance major. I wanted a high salary. That's what I was going after. And now you step back. I left a high compensating job at a bank, evidently to start that first book and just follow what's more meaningful to me, what I'm passionate about. And I've seen leaps and bounds because I'm actually working on things I care about. When I work 15-hour days, things like that, it's not really work to me because I'm doing something I'm so passionate about. And now the mental health world I've kind of really tapped into.
And you're helping people and you're getting a message out and you're letting people know that they aren't alone. I really think it's incredible. When we first connected on Instagram as authors, and I saw the pictures and read your story, I was just, I don't know, I was just like shocked. I was like, oh my God. And I'm a mom. So to think, I mean, you had your whole life ahead of you, just like you do now. But to think that that happened, like I see your pictures and everything's fine now. But at that time, I didn't know the story. And when I read the history of what led up to you writing a book, I couldn't believe it. And so I think it's such a great thing because things happen to us in life sometimes and we choose to forget them, which is perfectly fine because I'm sure with our mental health, some of us need to forget certain things and put it behind us, especially when they're so traumatic and so painful. But for you, you chose to take your story and share it and be so honest and let everybody know, what happened how it happened and everything that you went through, and you were triumphant. I mean, you're a success story because, that doesn't happen for everyone, so you were very lucky. Do you consider yourself lucky, or do you
More
feel that it
blessed
was
than
your
lucky.
inner?
More blessed than lucky. I mean, for whatever reason this happened to me, it is what it is. But we talked about it a little before. Expectations aren't always met when life. We have certain, I put this in the first book as well, where if you get in the car to go to the store, you expect to show up at the store, buy some food, get in the car, go back home. That's your expectation. You study for a test, you expect to get an A or a B. I walk home and not get in the car with a drunk driver because I expect to get home safely. So life, it's gonna throw a lot of curveballs at you. And with my story, certainly could have just tried to suppress it, but I would be running from it forever. It's something that's not going to go away. It's there. It happened. I can let
Right.
it run me and dictate my life, or I use it to make a large difference. Now, I think with that fourth book that I just sent you, Mental Health Week, I think I'll be able to positively impact a lot of kids because what they went through in COVID may be more traumatic than adults.
Right, exactly. So also let us know now the next step after recovery, and then what was in your mind at the time? Did someone encourage you to write a book? Did someone reach out to you, or did you say to yourself, I have a story here and I need to share it? How did that all work?
It's tough to say, but I think the final person to push me towards putting the book into completion is one of my first mentors down here, Lee Bell. I had met him at a 1 million cups event. If you're unfamiliar with that, it is a community organization that's all around the country, but you speak and present your business or ideas to the members of the community in the club, and they give you advice, people to connect you with, really to jumpstart your business. I had met Lee. He's the Chamber of Commerce president here in Ybor City now. He was in Seminole Heights, Florida, and he was always very supportive. So we put the pen to paper and I started typing and going back and forth. He laminated my first couple editions for me. So it was a really special process. You want to tell your story, and it really changed when I spoke at graduation. I spoke at my MBA commencement. They said I would never finish the first degree, whatever. I went back and I got better grades my second time around after the traumatic brain injury. So after that, I said, I can do speaking maybe for a living potentially. And then I felt comfortable. It was 8,500 people in my first gig. So I said, it was at the Lightning Stadium, the hockey team. So I figured from here on out, nothing will be scarier than that. It's already over. The book can supplement the writing career. And then things just started rolling through networking. Everything's networking, just like I met
Right.
you.
It happened so fast. And I mean, your story is incredible.
It's
And
picked up speed quickly.
yeah, it just goes so fast. So it kind of is kind of hard to remember sometimes. And you've been on television, right? You've shared your story on the news.
Fox News, I did a segment on, and obviously from the accident, I was featured on a lot of news for the wrong reason, unfortunately. But now with the books, I've been lucky enough to be on Fox News. It was a goal I had set myself to be on Fox, and it took me 502 days since my first book came out to get on Fox. So it's a testament to if you're seeking any goal, some might take 500 days. And it really
Right.
did.
Yeah, that's
Countless
right.
emails to newscasters, because I may not be the best at press releases. You can look up how to do it and try your best, but that type of email was never my forte. And finally, something stuck. Um, Ellen Fiss over at Tampa General, she's always been in my corner. She's a PR over there, and she kind of nudged me in the direction to reach back out to people here in Tampa. And then it worked out.
Right. You do have a lot of people in your corner.
I'm
And
always grateful for those people, though, and I will always show appreciation to them because no one can get anywhere. And I'm a long way from where I need to be. I'm just making baby steps. It's not possible without someone lending you a hand. You can't do everything on your own.
what a story. And the fact that you're sharing it and you have people, supporting you along the way is so important. Now, tell us a little bit about your first book. And if you would
I'd love to. Thank you.
show us the
Yeah.
cover.
Everything's on Amazon. It's easier for me with pandemic because of USPS, the delays with the books I've had. I feel bad. So I stick to Amazon. This is Left for Dead, a story of redemption. Cover was done by a friend from college, Kay Kell. And this is a story, an autobiography that I introduced the world to who I am after graduation. I really wanted to share a more personal side of me, share my childhood all the way through the hospital where My mother had a journal documenting each day, the first 14 days of what was going on, what I said, what I ate, how things were. So it's a real useful tool for anyone who has been in that situation, maybe not a brain injury, or has a son, a daughter, sibling in the hospital. It'll help give you the strength you need. And then it ends up with me speaking at graduation for my MBA. So it's a real testimonial, I could say, to my life. You'll have a real chance to get to know me, what I stand for fundamentally, and then how it's all evolved into the next couple books.
And also inspirational. People know
Yeah.
sometimes things happen and we have the strength to, move on and conquer it and beat the odds, because you're a perfect example of how the odds were definitely against you. And now look, this is an amazing story. It's I still get chills from it. I really, really do. And then so you have the first book and then you moved on to your next book.
Yes, the next book I published in the beginning of the pandemic, it's called How to Transform Your Mindset When the Norm Has Changed. And that's an ebook on Amazon. I think it's like $1 or $2. And what it is, it describes like my daily routines, things that work for me, everything from exercising, using breaks throughout the day, things that have worked for me working remote. Because at that point, it had been 6 or 7 years where my main jam was working on my own business. I was finally really putting the effort forth, but it gets lonely working alone, and you can fall into bad habits because you have no one telling you what to do, no one assigning you work. So I just give some tips of things that worked for me, along with activities, a 7-day accountability journal with steps for each day for you to really just get that ball rolling. Because once you start doing things for a week, you have the potential to turn it into a habit.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that one.
I mean, even with the gym, a lot of people get scared about the word gym, the exercise. But if you were to just take a walk for 10 minutes today and do it tomorrow, all of a sudden you're going to be walking for a week. And a walk is exercise. How many benefits it has for your mental health. I could talk about it forever. That's my real go-to. Every morning between 2 and 4 a.m. I'm in the gym. It starts my day. It gives me the energy and it helps me think clearly, not overthink things. And it's very important for me when there's a lot going on and it's easy to be influenced with anything.
Right. And exercise plays a big role
Yes.
in mental health, right? So the two work really well together. I know I feel great when I exercise. We all get our lazy periods, I guess, because when I don't exercise for a while, for whatever the reason, I don't feel good or I get too busy. Then I get lazy. And when I think of the gym, I go, oh God, the gym. But so then I have to push myself to go. But then when I do go, I'm like, God, why don't I go? I should be going all the time. I love the way I feel right now because it's a feeling, right? And you get that mental clarity and it's just like a positive up here, mind, body, soul.
Yep. Think good, feel good. It's doing something productive, which may lead to other productive things. And a quick tip while we're on productivity, before bed every night, my biggest thing is I write down the 3 most important things I need to do when I wake up. I don't check emails before that. I don't have any distractions, don't go through my phone. And I attack those so quickly, which might take twice as long if I did it during the day while eating or answering emails, going down that rabbit hole. It's just something that it's everything for me. That and then the gym, it's life-changing for me.
Right. Yeah. It sounds like it. And it's everybody, it sounds like a great habit for everyone. And we should all find the time and make the time, right, for exercise. And
What's important to some isn't important to everybody. There's other positive ways you can improve your mental health. But for me, exercise is great because it's the double dipper. You get the physical health and the mental health benefit. And it helps me think a lot clearly than I would have.
I think it's a plus for everybody. I mean, I personally know just the way I feel afterwards, and it's great. So I would encourage everybody to try to get some exercise, right? Especially everybody was home for, a summer, a year, or a year and a half, whatever the story is. Because I know, from all over the world, everybody has their different, some people have to stay home right now in different parts of the world from, my friends on Facebook and Instagram that I hear. So moving, plays a big part, right? Because like you say, the mental health. So if we're just sitting around really doing nothing and just thinking, and we're not getting that oxygen, I guess, in our bloodstream, it's like, it's not good.
We are lucky about the lockdown that you said. I interviewed someone for the writer's show that you were on maybe 2 days ago, and he's in Australia. And he said where he was, they're locked down for 3 weeks now, but in other parts of Australia, they've been locked down for a long time. So that's where you have to really get the yoga mat and turn on YouTube to get creative with some kind of stretching, some kind of exercising.
Yeah, because it could be depressing just
Yes,
being in the
that's
house all the time, right? So that's
definitely
something
upsetting.
everybody get some exercise, especially if you're cooped up, especially like your guests from Australia. But I have heard about that, and I think exercise is key. I know when we had our lockdown, I was on Twitter and I was trying to encourage people to get out and, to get out in their maybe yard or just in their living room and get some exercise.
Yeah.
Now you have another book after your second book
Yes.
that you wrote,
The
and which
third
one is
book.
that?
Third book.
That's
Yes,
this
she's
book
got it
I
right there.
have.
Big shout out to Chris Bridge, the amazing illustrator I worked with. I was connected through networking again, through Dr. Denise, another friend I met from networking. She introduced me to Chris. Chris has worked with the Barbara Bush Foundation. She has so many books that are for kids that she does a special like collage type drawing, as you could see. And she made the book very special, a lot of mentorship through our many Zooms. It was during the pandemic. We've never met face to face, but I feel like I've known her forever because of how many Zooms we've had. And this is a 7-day tool for, I target as a student speaker, the age group of middle school, high school to faculty, because it is for those who can read. And each day with each expert talks about different techniques and different things to improve your mental health, as well as introduces anxiety, depression, and other mental health disparities you may find. I'm going to have to ask you what you thought in just a second, but to go through it, even for the first chapter, you meet the expert and then some information of what they speak about. But because it was made in the pandemic, I wanted to make it relevant. I have a social distancing section as well as a deeper dive section. The social distancing section provides ways to utilize that information right now if you don't feel comfortable going outside or you are on a lockdown. And then the deeper dive section discusses information for the kids in your lives, for the younger age group that's not in this book. If they're experiencing some of the things that we speak about in that day, ways to improve them. And then, we have to cap it off with an activity to make learning fun. I want you to use the information you learn, think outside the box, because being creative, and you'll learn that in this book, is very good for your mental health.
Yes, wow. And the good thing about this book is when you want to just pick it up and flip through it, you can
Yes.
easily find what you're looking for.
The goal is for it to
Yeah.
be a rereadable book, for you to go back to this book every so often when you feel like your mental health can use a boost. Because I didn't make it incredibly long. I made sure the value is in there, which was
Yes.
very tough to condense things into the format of the 7 days, the 1 page for the expert. But I've gotten great feedback from people on it on how it's helped them, and that really humbles me.
Yes, and it's not intimidating because it's short. And sometimes everything is so rush nowadays, and everything's so
Yeah.
time sensitive. If you just pick up this book and find what you're looking for, a refresher, maybe to be reminded about something, do one of the activities. I think it's perfect. I think
And
it's
through
perfect.
Chris, we decided to use the face instead of the typical brain, or I wanted to do like a brain lifting weights, but I learned how that was just what people see everywhere with mental health, something
Right.
different, especially a man being on it, because the conversation with males or mental health is very little. And just me smiling, giving positivity, maybe you'll pick up the book.
Yeah.
Right now, as a self-published guy, I'm only on Amazon. I am going to work to try to get my stuff through the Barnes and Noble channels now that the books are out. But I've really enjoyed the self-publishing route because of what it's taught me. And I'm sure you can, through your networking, know a lot about that too, where it's my baby. I didn't want anybody to be able to change it in the beginning of my career. Maybe the later books, I'll do the whole publisher route. But right now, because it's my passion, I wanted to make sure it was distributed with my information.
Right. And your story.
Yes.
I like on page 19 where activity, gratitude and achievement log. Include 2 things you are grateful for and 2 things you accomplish each day for 1 week. I think that's something really good to do.
Self-reflection is very important.
And to look back, and then you could look at that page and, it's accountability. And then if you don't fill something in, you would feel guilty, right?
At that point, because now you're doing it so many days in a row, my idea for you is to continue doing this on your own in a notebook or notepad, whatever, just continuing to recognize what you're grateful for, because I speak about where when you focus on things you're actually grateful for, it's not about the high ticket items, the cars or whatever. when you have health problems, you look at things a little differently. And that's what I'm trying to share in that message.
Yeah, well, this is a great book. And I am expecting in the mail your fourth book, and I don't have it or else I would show it, but tell us a
It'll
little
be
bit.
there today or tomorrow. This one is called Mental Health Week, and it is the same style with the 7 experts. One expert is different. I included Dr. Carlos Garcia here in Tampa. His company, Tampa Counseling and Wellness, is also the sponsor on my A Mental Health Break podcast. So I brought someone else in very close to me, and I take the class on a field trip to end the school year, my 5th grade class on a Mental Health Week field trip. And the story goes around a magic track similar to the magic school bus, where they're walking and they learn why that's good for their mental health, but they go to different places along the way and discuss mental health benefits, topics, and introduces kids in a kid-friendly way. Of course, I have activities in the back of the book for mommy and me, 10 bonus activities for you to do with your kids at home, as well as learning checkpoints throughout the chapters. I want the kids to stop and utilize it. So it was kind of designed for teachers to use as well. I want schools to want this book so kids can actually have it, see the value. It's a read for, I'd say, 2nd to 5th grade, advanced 1st graders, but it's not sophisticated vocabulary, so they probably could. That was my goal with that. But there is a glossary at the end for the few words I did feel were a bit maybe advanced for a 2nd or 3rd grader. I am excited for it, though, to keep circulating through schools.
That is wonderful.
Yeah,
That
it
is.
looks like that. This is me as a kid, just
Oh, wow.
redrawn.
Very
If
nice. Very
on
nice.
my Instagram, you guys can all check out later at Vincent Lanci. You could see the picture that he used. It was a really neat process.
Yeah, I think it makes it personal
Yeah.
when you see you on there. Like you said, it's not just the same old thing, maybe with the
Mhm.
weights, or it makes it a personal experience. You get to know the author, the person who went through this. And with these books, you not only speak from your experience, but you have professionals with you,
Yes.
right? With your books and providing, extra information.
Well, I need to provide that validity because I am not a therapist. I did not go to school for mental health degree. Although because of my 100 interviews on the mental health podcast and all of my trials and tribulations, I know quite a bit about it. But that doesn't make people want to spend money on the book, or 2, believe it's sound information. So from Dalai Lama speakers, Dr. Denise was a Dalai Lama speaker, worldwide doctor out in California. Dr. Garcia here, health teachers in New Jersey. My old roommate, John Infeld. My a good friend, Rich Basio. He's a doctor out in Miami, emergency resident physician. So I've been collaborating. Tony Alexander. I can go on to all of them. They all play a special part in my life, and I wanted to include them in my work because they do have that expert ability in there. Chris Bridge, she can talk about being creative, being grateful, which she does in the book, as you know.
Right.
I've even went as far to keep in touch with my elementary school counselor, Mr. Jim Durand. He's been an expert in my books as well. So you have an opportunity to meet him. It's been a lot of fun to put these books together because I get to reconnect with everybody. And so far, so good, I'd say. I'm looking forward to continuing to include people. Right now, a little preview for the first time I've even shared the holiday season. I had a book in the works, but it's been put on hold. I'm doing something with the foster care system, someone I've worked with in the past. We haven't talked about it much publicly, but my goal is to have this out for the holiday season, and it should be for this younger age group again.
That's amazing.
Yeah, with
That
the
is
foster
really,
kids.
that's amazing. And it's wonderful to see you smile, because I've
Yeah.
seen the pictures where, I mean, you must have been in so much pain. So how you turn this situation into a shared experience for other people, and people have so much to learn, and your books are so beneficial and so
The
helpful.
good thing is these are forever. The work's done now. So just because I don't spend a ton of money in marketing right now or have time to do all the networking that I'd like, it's not going anywhere. It will be able to help kids throughout time. The information is timeless. It's not going to change. It's not a science technique. It's things that have been around forever, will be around forever, and you can learn all about them in each book.
And sometimes we need to be reminded of that,
Mhm.
right? Sometimes we need to be reminded of that. So where can we find you?
You can find me. Thank you for asking me. VincentALanci.com, VincentALanci.com. All these books are on Amazon, like I said, because if you want the book, you can get it tomorrow from them. I can't compete with that. My handles are at Vincent A. Lanci on all social media, YouTube, and through there you can find my 2 podcast shows, and That Social, which is That Entrepreneur Show. I host a show where I interview a different founder from around the world every week. That started December 2019, so we're almost on 2 years straight of that show every single week. And A Mental Health Break just had 100 episodes, and that's on Tuesdays, and that's at A Mental Health Break on all socials.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
Congratulations. That
those
is
are exciting. But I've done the YouTube thing now as well, so do check out YouTube. I had the shiny object syndrome with Instagram. I think we spoke about this, where you want that account to grow, especially when that came out. I was just in college. That was a very popular thing, but I never monetized it. And at this point, it's a career for me. It's not just a hobby page. So I started doing more videos, which you'll be my season 3 premiere this Saturday on Writing with Authors. Be sure to check that out on YouTube. It's a lot of fun. Those episodes are about 10 minutes, and I interview a different writer from around the world each week. She talks about her books, which is it was a great time.
That was fun. Yeah. I look forward to watching it because while I was doing the interview, you're doing the interview, so you forget.
Yeah.
So that'll be pretty cool to watch. So
And
thank you
as
so
a
much for
special
having
for
me
your
on.
show, I have these 3 books. I'll give away one of each to any of your listeners. Just email me, tell me you found from this show, your best mailing address, and I will be in touch with you. So the first person, I guess, let me know which one you like, and I'll get one of you.
Oh, that's wonderful. Did you hear
Yeah.
that, everybody? 3 of Vince's books for free. Just send him an email.
Send me an email with why it would benefit you, why you would want the book. It doesn't have to be a lot, just 1 sentence or 2 sentences why the book would help you. And then send me your best mailing address, and I will get it out to you ASAP this week.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the response is confidential, private, just between.
Yes, I won't share with anybody. I ask if you like the book, just take a picture with it. As you know, Stephanie, that is our best way to spread our message. Someone who enjoys the book, give me a review. I don't want any money for it. Take a picture. That would mean a lot to me.
All right. Did you
Yeah.
hear that, everybody? I think that's wonderful. And they're very informative, supportive books.
Yes.
So if it's
I
something
should tell
that
you the email though. It's info@vincentalanci.com. Same spelling, just info@, and I will get those out to you.
Wonderful. So, and when our when our time is over, please don't forget, I need you to add your links. And I need you just to remind everybody with that email address also. That
In the
way,
chat?
when we have the live video
Okay.
posted, which I
Yes.
mean, it's up now, but then it takes a few minutes to process. And then
No
if you
problem.
just add all of your links, that way everybody knows where to find you
No problem.
and how to send an email, where to locate you
Yes.
to get your fantastic books. And I look forward to your next book that's coming to me in the mail, and it's probably going to be here today. I wish it would have made it for this interview, but we did an early morning interview. You're a busy guy, and we did an early morning interview. So yeah, the mail didn't come yet.
Well, I hope you enjoy it. I know you'll like it, even though you're not in school. You'll enjoy the story. Writing a fictional story was a lot of fun for me. It was a challenge, but I'll even share that it stemmed from a book I had written during the pandemic. It was about kids wearing masks and doing Zoom field trips, but I decided to go forward with this book first. But I had to redo the whole book pretty much because of no masks and COVID, hopefully finally passing. So if you have kids, that's the go-to book for elementary school kids. It's a fun way to learn, and they'll learn a lot about mental health.
Right. Well, you're doing a wonderful thing. And thank you for sharing your experience. And thank you for writing these wonderful books.
Yeah.
And everybody, don't forget to check out Vince. He's going to post his links, follow him on Instagram and anywhere else you can find him, and listen to his podcast. Right?
Thank you very much for having me again, Stephanie. It was a great time on the show. I'm very grateful to be here, and I look forward to connecting with some people in your audience.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you guys for viewing this morning. And those of you who are not, catching us live, I know you're going to catch it on the replay later on my page. And I will be sharing this interview.
Yes, please do. And I'll reshare it as well on my channels.
Any last words you'd like to share with everybody, or a positive maybe thought for everybody to enjoy their day?
Yeah, my last word's gonna be, if there's something that you planned on doing, something that's been in the rear view for a while, you just can't find a way to get to it, just challenge yourself to work on it for 10 minutes, even set an alarm and just do it for a couple of days, only 10 minutes throughout your day. And then by the end of the week, you'll have about an hour of work done. And then you'll look at that progress and you might want to push forward.
I think that's wonderful advice.
Yes.
And we're getting a lot of people tuning in now. So you
Perfect.
guys can catch the replay. I'm speaking to Vince Lanci. He has some wonderful books and it discusses mental health.
Yes.
And there they go. There's the book. So those of you who are joining us now, don't forget to click on the links and check out Vince on social media and listen to this wonderful interview. And I just want to say thank you so much again for joining me.
Thank you.
I learned a lot and it was so great being able to talk like this
Yes, yes.
face to face through Zoom. So I appreciate it, Vince, and I'm
I
glad
appreciate it
all,
as well, Stephanie. Thank
I'm
you.
glad all is well. And I wish you all the success
Thank
in
you.
the world.
Thank you, Stephanie. Bye.
Thank you. All right. Have a great one, Vince. All right. Bye, guys. Bye. Bye.